In tennis, perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches. Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches?
In an era where sports often serve as a global stage for identity, influence, and innovation, Roger Federer emerged not just as a master of tennis, but as a model of modern excellence. His name, now synonymous with grace under pressure and artistry in motion, represents more than a champion athlete. Federer is a timeless figure whose story unfolds far beyond the constraints of courts and scoreboards. With an approach that fused elegance and intelligence, he changed how we see athletes, not simply as competitors, but as creators, humanitarians, and icons of global unity. Roger Federer was born on August 8, 1981, in Basel, Switzerland, into a multicultural household. His father, Robert, was Swiss, while his mother, Lynette, hailed from South Africa, infusing his upbringing with both European precision and African warmth. Alongside his older sister Diana, Federer enjoyed a childhood that was calm yet competitive, instilled with values of humility, perseverance, and curiosity. Multilingual from a young age, speaking German, French, and English, Federer's early life was a mirror of the global citizen he would become. His introduction to tennis was more an organic discovery than a calculated ambition. At age 3, he held a racket with the same ease some children cradle a toy. By 8, he was a regular at local courts, and by 12, he made a pivotal decision: to choose tennis over soccer. That choice would steer his life, but it wasn't driven by external expectations. Instead, it reflected an internal fire, a love for individual mastery, and the deep satisfaction of refining one's craft. Those who watched him in Basel remember not just his talent, but the joyful seriousness with which he approached practice. He played to learn, and he learned to express. Formal schooling in Basel played a role, but Federer's real education unfolded in the rhythm of discipline, sacrifice, and international exposure. At 14, he moved to Koblenz to train at the Swiss National Tennis Center. The shift marked a turning point, away from childhood comforts and toward the rigor of elite sport. Here, he met coach Peter Carter, a soft-spoken Australian who recognized Federer's potential, not just to win, but to inspire. Carter's mentorship was foundational, shaping both Federer's technique and his character. When Carter tragically died in a car crash in 2002, Federer, devastated, vowed to honor him through greatness. Federer's rise through the professional ranks was not meteoric, it was methodical. He turned pro in 1998, and his initial seasons were peppered with flashes of brilliance and bouts of frustration. Known in his early days for temper tantrums and slammed rackets, Federer slowly shed those habits, replacing them with calm clarity. His breakout arrived in 2003 when he won Wimbledon, defeating Mark Philippoussis in a performance that blended poise with power. The title was more than a trophy. It was a signal to the world that tennis had found its next maestro. From 2003 to 2010, Federer dominated the sport with an artistry unseen in the modern game. His one-handed backhand, precise footwork, and feather-light touch made matches feel like performances. He captured 16 of his 20 Grand Slam titles during this era, including a record 8 Wimbledon titles. His duels with Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic are the stuff of legend, epic showdowns that not only shaped tennis but elevated it. The 2008 Wimbledon final against Nadal, often called the greatest match in history, ended in defeat for Federer, but it underscored his role in redefining sportsmanship. He embraced losses with grace and victories with humility. Yet Federer's story is as much about his off-court endeavors as his on-court achievements. In 2003, the same year as his first Slam victory, he launched the Roger Federer Foundation, focused on providing access to early education in Africa and Switzerland. The foundation has since reached over 2.9 million children, investing more than $90 million into educational development. Federer's trips to Malawi, Zambia, and South Africa weren't for press. They were part of a deeper commitment. "Tennis gave me a platform," he once said. "What I do with it matters more than what I did with a racket." The second chapter of Federer's career, his 30s, was marked by reinvention. As age and injury tested him, particularly his chronic knee issues from 2016 onward, he adapted. He changed coaches, shifted tactics, and even remodeled his backhand to stay competitive. In 2017, at the age of 35 and after a 6-month layoff, Federer stunned the tennis world by winning the Australian Open. That comeback, followed by wins at Wimbledon the same year and another Australian Open in 2018, cemented his status not just as a tennis great, but as a sporting legend. His approachability was key to his enduring popularity. While Federer commanded arenas and red carpets, he remained deeply rooted in family and values. Married to former tennis player Mirka Vavrinek since 2009, he is a father to 2 sets of twins, daughters Mila and Charlene, and sons Leo and Leonard. Federer's ability to balance fatherhood and fame is rare, and it reflects his commitment to living a full, grounded life. His home in Switzerland, far from the paparazzi of Los Angeles or Monaco, offers a quiet reflection of his priorities. When Federer retired in 2022 at the Laver Cup, sharing his final doubles match with longtime rival Rafael Nadal, the moment was emotional and symbolic. Tears flowed from both legends as the tennis world bid farewell, not only to a champion, but to an era. The retirement wasn't just about Federer leaving the sport. It marked the close of a chapter that defined excellence through elegance. In 2024, Netflix released Federer, 12 Final Days, a documentary chronicling the emotional lead-up to his retirement. It drew over 5 million viewers, offering an intimate look into his vulnerability and humanity. Post-retirement, Federer hasn't slowed down. He has become an ambassador for global brands like Rolex, Uniqlo, and On Running, the latter of which he co-owns and helped elevate into a billion-dollar company. His new YouTube series, RF Reflections, launched in 2025, features conversations with athletes, artists, and educators, attracting over 1 million subscribers in its first 6 months. His annual charity exhibitions, such as the 2025 Basel Classic, raise millions for education, with Federer personally mentoring rising stars. Though no longer competing, he remains a dynamic force in the tennis world and beyond. Federer's net worth, estimated at $550 million by Forbes, isn't just a reflection of success. It's a testament to brand integrity. Unlike many athletes who endorse indiscriminately, Federer carefully curates his partnerships, aligning with companies that share his ethos of quality and longevity. His 2025 RF Elite sneaker collaboration with On sold 50,000 units within weeks, praised for its blend of design and function. But perhaps more significantly, he donated all proceeds to rebuilding schools in Malawi, reinforcing his philosophy: style must serve substance. At 43, Roger Federer is more than a retired athlete. He is a symbol of evolution, of how sport can move from competition to conversation, from victory to legacy. Whether speaking on educational equity at a 2025 UNICEF summit or hosting youth clinics in Nairobi, he continues to use his platform with purpose. His passion for jazz, family ski trips in the Swiss Alps, and love of chocolate and The Godfather paint a picture of a man who celebrates life's richness. His Protestant faith, quiet yet steady, informs his perspective on perseverance and purpose. Federer's mantra, "Play free, stay humble," encapsulates his journey. From a boy swinging a racket in Basel to a statesman of sport, he reminds us that greatness is not just about records or riches. It's about consistency of character, depth of influence, and the willingness to evolve. In a 2025 interview with BBC Sport, he said, "I always saw tennis as an art. What I gave the world was a canvas. Now, I want to help others paint." His journey continues, not in sets and tiebreaks, but in classrooms, boardrooms, and conversations. Roger Federer's legacy lives on not because he won, but because he taught us how to live with balance, compete with elegance, and lead with heart. Thank you for traveling through this reflection on Roger Federer, a man whose mark on tennis will endure, but whose imprint on humanity will last even longer. Until next time, stay inspired. And remember, greatness begins not at the finish line, but in the courage to begin.